I am Ibrahim Traores, and I am starting a project in Africa. In the heart of West Africa, a small landlocked nation is suddenly making global headlines. Burkina Faso, a country often associated with poverty, political instability, and underdevelopment, is now being linked to a project so massive that it sounds almost unbelievable. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the country has announced an ambitious vision that is shaking the world. A $3 trillion megacity project that aims to transform Burkina Faso from one of Africa's poorest nations into a modern hub of innovation, technology, and infrastructure. The announcement has left many people shocked. Some see it as a dream worth chasing, while others dismiss it as nothing more than an impossible fantasy. But one thing is certain: Traoré has captured the world's attention. To understand why this project has created such a storm, we need to first look at Burkina Faso's current reality. With a population of around 23 million people, most Burkinabe rely on agriculture for survival. The nation is rich in natural resources such as gold, manganese, and other minerals, but decades of exploitation by foreign corporations have left the people struggling while wealth flows out of the country. Basic infrastructure such as roads, hospitals, and schools are underdeveloped. For many Burkinabe, clean water, reliable electricity, and access to quality education are still daily challenges. Against this backdrop, the idea of a futuristic megacity worth $3 trillion feels like a story out of science fiction. But Traoré's supporters argue that this vision is not about where Burkina Faso is today. It is about where it could be tomorrow. The proposed megacity is designed to be more than just buildings and skyscrapers. It is meant to be a symbol of African self-reliance, a declaration that African nations no longer need to depend on former colonial powers or international financial institutions to define their future. According to early concept reports, the megacity would include advanced transport systems, high-speed rail networks, smart housing, renewable energy projects, digital technology hubs, and massive trade zones. The vision is not only about improving Burkina Faso, but about positioning the nation as a central player in West Africa and beyond. The figure, $3 trillion, is what has caught the world by surprise. To put this in perspective, Burkina Faso's entire gross domestic product is less than $20 billion. The idea of suddenly attracting investments 150 times greater than the current economy sounds impossible at first glance. Critics immediately question where this money will come from. Some suspect that Traoré is banking on foreign investors from rising powers, such as China, Russia, or wealthy Middle Eastern states. Others believe the focus might be on monetizing Burkina Faso's vast natural resources more effectively, ensuring that the profits stay within the country rather than being extracted by multinational corporations. Whatever the funding source, the scale of the project has sparked debates in financial circles, political think tanks, and even among ordinary Africans, dreaming of a brighter future. Traoré himself has become a central figure in this story. Since seizing power in 2022, he has positioned himself as a defender of sovereignty and an opponent of neo-colonial influence in Africa. His fiery speeches about dignity, independence, and African pride have made him extremely popular, not only in Burkina Faso, but across the continent. Many young Africans see him as a symbol of resistance, someone willing to stand up against Western powers that have historically dominated African politics and economics. The megacity project, whether realistic or not, reinforces that image of boldness. It sends a clear message. Burkina Faso is not afraid to dream big. The world, however, remains divided. On one side are the optimists, who argue that Africa desperately needs visionary projects like this. They point to examples such as Dubai, which transformed from a desert trading outpost into a global financial hub within a few decades, largely thanks to bold leadership, oil wealth, and international investment. They also highlight Rwanda, a country that rose from genocide in the 1990s to become one of Africa's cleanest, safest, and most innovative economies today. If Dubai and Rwanda could rise against the odds, then why not Burkina Faso? On the other side are the skeptics. They warn that the project is unrealistic, possibly even a distraction from the country's immediate challenges such as poverty, insecurity, and food shortages. Burkina Faso has been battling insurgency groups in recent years, with large portions of its rural areas affected by violence. Some critics argue that before dreaming of skyscrapers and futuristic transport systems, the government should focus on securing stability, providing basic healthcare, and ensuring that children can go to school safely. Others believe that even if the megacity is built, it could become a playground for the elite and foreign investors, rather than improving the lives of ordinary Burkina-based citizens. Despite the doubts, there is no denying the power of the narrative. A poor country daring to dream of a $3 trillion mega project is bound to make headlines. It inspires hope in some, raises eyebrows in others, but above all, it forces the world to pay attention to Burkina Faso, a nation that has long been ignored on the global stage. Traoré has effectively shifted the conversation. Instead of Burkina Faso being seen only as a struggling state, it is now being spoken of in the same breath as global mega-projects. Another interesting angle is the geopolitical context. Africa has become the new battleground for influence between global powers. China has invested heavily in infrastructure across the continent through its Belt and Road Initiative. Russia has been expanding its military and economic presence in countries like Mali, Central African Republic, and Burkina Faso itself. Meanwhile, Western countries, particularly France and the United States, are struggling to maintain influence. In this setting, a $3 trillion megacity project is not just about urban development. It is about who gets to shape Africa's future. Will it be built with Chinese engineering, Russian financing, or a new model of Pan-African cooperation? For ordinary Africans, however, the dream of such a city is deeply emotional. It represents the possibility of an Africa that builds for itself, that refuses to remain stuck in the image of poverty and dependence. Social media has been flooded with discussions about what the mega city might look like. Futuristic skyscrapers, solar-powered smart homes, flying cars, and AI-driven industries are just some of the images circulating online. Whether realistic or not, these conversations fuel a new sense of pride and imagination, especially among African youth. Still, the road ahead is filled with challenges. Financing alone is a mountain to climb. Political stability, security, and technical expertise will all play a role. The danger is that without careful planning, the project could collapse under its own weight, becoming another failed promise in a continent that has seen many. Yet, some argue that even if the megacity is never fully built, the very act of announcing such a bold vision is valuable. It shifts the mindset from survival to ambition, from dependence to independence, from being forgotten to being noticed. As of now, details remain scarce. Official blueprints, timelines, and investors have not been fully disclosed. This has led many to wonder whether the $3 trillion figure is more symbolic than literal. Perhaps it is less about a single project and more about a long-term vision for national transformation. In that sense, Traoré may not be selling a city. He may be selling hope. And hope, as history has shown, can be a powerful force for mobilizing people and attracting opportunities. In the coming years, the world will be watching Burkina Faso closely. Will Traoré's bold plan materialize into real infrastructure and growth, or will it fade away as an exaggerated promise? Regardless of the outcome, one thing is clear. Traoré has already achieved something extraordinary. He has put Burkina Faso on the global map in a way no one expected. He has challenged the narrative that Africa must always think small. And he has sparked a debate that could shape how Africans and the world imagine the continent's future. For now, the $3 trillion megacity remains a dream, a vision suspended between hope and reality. But in the words of many visionaries, every great achievement begins with a dream that others thought was impossible. Whether Traoré's plan shocks the world as a success or shocks the world as a failed attempt, history will remember this moment as the time when Burkina Faso dared to imagine the unimaginable.